Good morning, everybody. I'm Logan, and today you're going to be with me here on Brian's farm. Obviously, we've been working on potatoes all summer long, but now, before we get some real hard freezes, we got to get them all out of the ground. For the past couple of weeks, we've really been pushing to get them all out, but it's a very slow process. We have to dig them all, and then we pick them all up by hand. And then we usually like to store about 10 bins in our potato storage over the winter. That way we can use them and sell them all. But this year, we've been having a lot of potatoes. They've really been yielding well, so we actually had to call up our neighbor and ask him if we could borrow some of their bins. So as you can see right here, we just got 5 of them. And on top of our 2 bins we're gonna fill today, we're gonna fill all these 5. Now, since these potatoes are gonna be stored all winter long, we wanna make sure they're going in a clean container. So we always wash them before we do that. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That way I can reach out to more people and show them what we do and how we do it. So the bins are washed. So now we're ready to head to the field and start picking potatoes. So now that the bins are ready to go, they're gonna start drying out. And while they're drying out, the guys are out there, they already started picking up potatoes. You can see they've already got a really nice line of them going. They're putting them in half bushel baskets, and they go from here all the way out there to the woods. Before we move into picking up potatoes, we had to get some things around for market on Friday. So the first thing we're going to start off here is cabbage. You can see mixed right in here with the cabbage is a corn stalk. And that's because when my dad was making rows for the field so I know where to plant, he left corn in the corn planter instead of just putting fertilizer. So that's why you can see that there. Also, you'll notice some of the cabbage leaves on top are discolored, and that's from the frost. It doesn't mean the cabbage head is bad, it just means that top leaf needs to be peeled off. Now me and my mom are moving on to Savoy. A lot of people like Savoy for piggies because they say it's a sweeter leaf. Now we're moving on to kale. We like to put about 5 to 6 leaves in a bundle, and that's how we'll sell it at market. Now my mom and I are moving on to washing red and white potatoes. Around this time of year when it gets colder, we have to try and wash around like 12 o'clock because if not, it's too cold and the washers won't even turn on. When washing, I have my main crate at the end of the washer as you can see, and then I have 2 red baskets off to the side. One is for seconds. They might have a blemish or some kind of green spot on them that it was exposed when it was in the ground. And the other one is just for small ones. That way we can have everything separated and when we take it to market, it's easy to sell.
Spreads are starting to sprout. I'm seeing more and more of it.
Now we're moving into picking up potatoes. My dad came through earlier in the day with a potato digger and dug them all up out of the ground. Then we like to let them sit for about an hour or two to dry off, and then we'll start picking them up. The potatoes we're picking up here are a really nice shaped white potato, and they're an Eva. We also grow a yellow potato that aren't quite as pretty and they're a little bit misshaped. That's a Norwis. And the red potatoes you seen me washing earlier were a dark red Norland. When picking them to store for the winter, we want to make sure they're very nice, all the dirt's cleaned off, and there's no green or bad ones. Because if they are not quite right or they are bad, they can actually rot not just themselves, but all the potatoes around them in the bin.
That may have been hit with frost. It's gray. It's a gray spot.
Okay. I got
I mean, they're not really easy to see. That's the first one I've seen.
Besides myself out here picking is Stephanie there in the dark blue. In the light blue is my mom. In the green is Frank, and then down on the end is my dad, and then last but certainly not least is my dog Daisy.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, there wasn't that many. No, man.
So now that they're all picked up, we're gonna start loading. Frank and I are gonna put them on the wagon, and then my mom and dad are gonna dump them into the bin.
Not till they're dry. Yeah, how you doing up there, alright?
Yeah.
We put them in the bins because there's absolutely no way we could keep all of our potatoes in baskets. First of all, we don't have the room. Second of all, we just don't have that many baskets. Now when dumping these into the bin, we want to make sure we try not to dump any more dirt in there that we have to. We want to make sure there's no bad ones, so we always double check, even though we went through them when we were picking them. And then we also want to be careful when dumping them in. We want to be as careful as possible so that we do not bruise them. So now that we got all the potatoes binned up, we're gonna put them in our potato storage right here behind me. This is what they look like. There's about 40 half bushels, so it'd be 20 bushels in each bin. The reason why we call this our potato storage is because, as you can see, it's about 3/4 underneath the ground. So that temperature actually cools this down, and obviously there's no windows in here. So when we close this overhead door, it's completely black in here and it stays cooler, like I said, and it's just perfect for potatoes. So as you can see, we have 2, 4, 5, and then right here's the 6th one, and he's gonna be bringing 4 more in yet, and we still have about 8 bins to go yet. All of our potatoes now, after they're out of the ground, will get put in that storage, and then we'll use them all throughout the winter into spring for our market. So now that potatoes are done for the day, I'm gonna finish up here in the barn doing barn work. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. And always remember, it ain't much, but it's honest work.